Good evening, fellow degenerates. Mickey D here for Cold Beer Sports on Friday evening. It's late enough, it must be 6:30 or 7. Got delayed, forgot it was Friday completely. I thought it was Tuesday. That's what happens. Today, bad day, not good. Would have found that hard to believe that no show wouldn't have been in the first four. Something must have happened. I have no idea. It couldn't be just a change of jockey. I seen it finish last of all, so that was very unexpected result. The one on the flat, impulsive one, I thought that would take up the lead and find it hard maybe to pass. Instead of that, educating it out the back wasn't the tactics I thought, but obviously they're not going to run it on the wet ground over hurls, so there could be another day for that on the flat, maybe 2 miles that anyway. So there was another one. Oh yeah, Twilight Man. Lots of money for the overnight, 9-2 into it. It was 2-1, 15th this morning. Drifted a little, but the other one found more improvement. To the better maiden, obviously, than I put it down for after watching Murtagh's horse the other night not going so well. So that's fun dog for you. But anyway, onwards and upwards. A few for tomorrow, a few interesting ones. The first one is in the 2:13 at Cork, Scheu Time. That's SCHEU time for James Nash and Rachel Blackmore. Handicap hurdle 2.5 miles, rated 122. It won in Cork before in December 2019, when it was rated 119, and it was soft ground that day. It had won over heavy ground in Galway, 2 miles 2 over fences. Its last couple of runs were over 3 miles, which seemed to use up all its stamina before it came to shove. And the last one actually was in Cheltenham in November. It was 5 lengths behind Sporting John in the listed handicap hurl. So 2.5 miles is more suitable. It was won in Cork before. It's only a 9-year-old. Rachel Blackmore is an interesting booking, and it's a 5-1, 11-2 shot. So it's worth a pint each way. Be third favourite, I'd say. So that's the 2:13 at Cork, Scheu Time, or Scheu Time, whichever you want. Just before that race, actually, the 2:05 at Wincanton, Grey Dimond for Sam Thomas, and Jack Tudor is riding. He's claiming 3. It's carrying 12 stone too, but this will just bring it under the 12 stone. It has 8 runs over fences. It has only won once, but has been second and 4 places. But it's all in good class races, up against better stock than it's up against tomorrow. It won in Sandown last March, rated 126 that day, and beat that Dostal Phil of JP's. Then it was 5th in entry in its run after that. It was up £8. Dostal Phil actually finished in front of it, I believe, that day, if I remember right. Yeah, he did. And then in early the end of October in Ascot, it was third to a Moolah Gold, and his first run back after the layoff. And then it was 4th in Newbury of 132 to El Redito, who's classy enough. So he was up against good. That's why he's carrying top weight. He's down a bit in class. So he's a 3-1 shot, 100-30 in that bracket. So he's worth a pint win. And being a veteran myself, I will have to have a stab at the veterans race tomorrow. That is the 3 o'clock at Sandown. And followers will know that I tipped up Black Lion in the qualifying run. And the horse was second that day. I thought ran a great race altogether. It was ASO. And it was nudged up £2 for its second that day, but I think it may be classy enough tomorrow. Now it's no penalty kick, and I heard somebody saying or read somewhere that it's not as good going right-handed, but it ran in the King George going right-handed, like, and it was carrying, it was rated 166 at the time, so it finished, none of these would ever have ran in the King George. So I know it's giving weight away. It'll go on the ground. Black Line beat it that, but it ran very well, close enough proximity to him coming up the stretch. Black Line has franked the form since. There's a couple of live dangers in it. It's always a very good race, but it's a 3-1 favourite, and I think it's worth a point win. So there's the 3, and there's a fair chance that I will have 1, if not 2, on the Patreon service tomorrow for the first time. And the link will be in the description below. That's the first time I ever said that. So we'll see. It depends on how much rain is overnight and stuff. If I fancy something, there's a couple of there, maybe 3-point players tomorrow. If not, I think I have one for Sunday. So keep watching anyway, and I will try and get you a few winners. I did say that I might tell a joke, but I was over the Christmas there was great comments, and it's great that everyone has a bit of banter. It was great to see the likes of Crystal yesterday saying that, you know, that she backed that one in Cork, betting and running. She had a 10 round at a 12-1. And there, the commentary that people love to get involved in, like, you know, so keep them coming at all times, with the two lads as well. Plenty of comments with Joe and Paddy as well, you know. That's what we're all in this for together, to have a bit of crack as well as making a few pound, like, you know, that we're all us against the bookies, like, you know. So, but Tango Foxtrot, he seems to be a great character. Not a clue where he comes from either, but he said there a couple of weeks ago that there's a comment, and some of you might have picked up, that Paddy went in on a building site looking for a start, and the foreman said to him, can you buy a kittle? So I said, I can. And he said, can you drive a forklift? And Paddy said, how big is the fucking kittle? You know. So a nice little one like that reminded me of Paddy was out in Saudi Arabia, out in the desert, and he seen an advertisement up on the corner, and an arrow pointing into a building site that a handyman was needed. So he went in anyway, and the foreman asked him, you know, he says, what can you do? Handy, like, you know. So, well, he says, it's handy enough, I live around the corner for starters, like, you know. So he said, that's not handy enough. He says, like, you know, can you do a bit of carpentry? No. Can you do a bit of plumbing? No. Can you do a bit of block laying? No. Can you do a bit of plastering? No. And he says, like, you know, well, can you ride a camel? Oh, because says Paddy, I can ride a camel? No bother. And he says, and you're from Ireland and you can ride a camel. Explain that to me. Well, he said there was a family of camels. Now, that would be spelt Campbell, be Campbell, but Paddy pronounced it camels. So I said there was a family of camels down the road, he says, for me, he says, and there was 3 daughters in it. He said, and I rode the 3 of them, he says, before they were 21. And in fact, he says, I rode the mother as well. She was chancy as fuck, he says, you know. Anyway, I don't think he got the job. Mickey D for Cold Beer Sports, over and out. Have a very good weekend. Bash those bookies.